Hi everyone, I'm Dale Smith, aka Journo Dale, and we're here to talk about Canadian politics. There's been a lot of talk in the news over the last couple of weeks about the Pierre Elliott Trudeau Foundation. Some of this has been conspiracy theory, but the basis is that several years ago, a Chinese billionaire had made a big donation to the foundation in what appears to be a clumsy attempt at foreign interference because the prime minister's name is, his father's name is attached to it, and someone thought this would be a good way of currying favor. In the wake of all of these discussions around foreign interference, it appears that that billionaire's donation may have been funded by the Chinese Communist Party. And when this became common news, the foundation tried to return that donation and found that there was no one to return it to. And this in turn led to the revelation of governance problems within the foundation. And in all of this, people have been calling in the Auditor General to come and investigate. The Bloc have made this request, and the foundation itself has also made such a request. But the problem is that I don't see how this is possibly within the Auditor General's ambit. Now, there are people who say, well, this is a federal institution and they've got, it's subject to certain federal laws, but that doesn't mean there's a connection for the Auditor General to come in. So with this in mind, I went and did some digging to try and find out what kind of relationship there is in order to see whether the Auditor General could come in. So the foundation itself, first of all, was established as a under the Canada Corporations Act, not-for-profit organizations. So that means it is a federally registered corporation, not a provincially one. And it was then subsequently registered as a charitable organization with the CRA. Now, in 2002, there was an agreement made with Parliament for the endowment for this foundation, which is known as the Advanced Humanities and Human Sciences Fund. And this creates an obligation for the foundation to report to the Minister of Industry, aka Minister of Innovation, Science, and Economic Development. But everything that I've been able to find shows that this particular reporting relationship is only in relation to the endowment itself and ensuring that it is being handled according to the agreement, which means that the $125 million endowment stays untouched. It is invested, and the interest that it earns is what funds the scholarships and also protects the initial endowment from inflation. But the government has no direction, and this reporting relationship is only around, so far as I can tell, only around the management of the endowment. So that is not enough for it to relate to the Auditor General's ambit. This all being said, in 2007, the Conservative government, as part of their sweeping Accountability Act, did subject the foundation to the things like the Access to Information and Privacy Acts, under the rubric that they receive government money, therefore they must be transparent using these mechanisms. Again, though, the government doesn't direct them. They're arm's length. They're an independent organization. This particular subject to these federal laws is mostly performative, because this was about the Conservatives riding in on the so-called white horse of accountability, and they were going to clean up Ottawa, and they subjected a whole bunch of organizations to these reporting regimes, even though they're not government and they're not government owned or controlled. And it was mostly about the big show around that. So the foundation is subject to these federal reporting requirements for access to information and privacy. But again, the government's not controlling them. There's no direct reporting relationship. They are not a crown corporation. Again, not seeing the connection to the Auditor General. So I went and looked into the Auditor General's website and her powers and abilities when it comes to who she can audit. And all of that is part of the Financial Administration Act, which again, I went and dug into, and lo and behold, the Pierre, Elliott, Trudeau Foundation is not anywhere in the Financial Administration Act or any of its associated schedules, because the foundation is not a crown corporation. And the Auditor General's mandate is around not only government departments, but also crown corporations. And she is subject to what is in the financial administration account. The foundation is not in there. So with all of this in mind, I'm having a hard time finding where the authority for her to come in would stem from. There is no relationship that I can see that would authorize the Auditor General to come in and do an audit, even though the foundation themselves have requested it. Foundation has also brought in outside counsel, and that counsel is going to bring in their own outside audit firm in order to look at what's happened with this donation and probably with their other associated governance problems. But again, there's no solid federal connection by which the Auditor General can come in. So this is where we're kind of at. I don't see how there is any authority for her to come in or for anyone to ask her to come in, because the foundation is not subject to the Financial Administration Act, and its only reporting relationship has to do with the status of its endowment, which these private donations to the foundation are not part of. So again, that is not any part of their reporting relationship to the minister or the government. So we're going to see what the Auditor General says. If she does say that she'll audit based on their invitation, I'm going to be very curious what the rationale for her ability to do so is. But from where we're sitting right now, I'm not seeing how she can be called in, and that's kind of a big deal. And that's everything for this week. Join us again next week for some more Canadian politics. I'm Dale Smith. That's at journo_Dale on Twitter. And don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe, and support us on Patreon. Thanks, everyone.